Hello reception, Mrs Webb here with Wednesday's maths lesson. Okay, so far this week you have been thinking about measuring things. On Monday you were thinking about measuring height, so you were thinking about if something was taller or shorter. And then yesterday you were thinking about the length of something, so was it very long or was it shorter? Today we are going to think about measuring time. So we're going to have a little think about how long things take. But before that, I'm going to do a little warm up for our brains and just have a think about some number work to start with. So I share the screen and pop our PowerPoint on. I am going to show you some items. There are two numbers that are going to appear on the screen. They're represented. One's on a tens frame and one is on a set of dominoes. And I want to know, are the numbers that you can see that are being represented the same numbers or are they different numbers? So let me show you. So there's our two numbers. Are they the same or different? Have a little chat with your grown-up next to you. You can pause the video if you want to while you count carefully. What do we think then? Who thinks the same and who thinks different? That's right, they're the same, aren't they? So if we look at the dominoes, we can see that the domino represents 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spots. And if we look at the tens frame, that also represents 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dots. But they're just made up in slightly different ways. The domino is made up of a 2 and a 6, and that makes 8. And the tens frame has got 5 along the top and a 3 along the bottom, because 5 and 3 also make 8. So well done if you knew that that was the same number. Let's have another look. The next picture, we have got some muffins there in a tray, and we've got another domino. Are the numbers that I'm showing you the same or different? What are we representing there? Okay, have a little think, have a little count in the chat at home. Which numbers are being represented and how are they? How have we made the numbers? It's the number, what is it everybody? 6, that's right, it's the same. So we can see 6 muffins and we can see 6 spots on the dominoes, and we might want to think about it as 3 muffins and 3 muffins makes 6 altogether, because we've got 3 here, 1, 2, 3, and then another line of 3, 1, 2, 3, so 6 altogether. And on our domino, we've got 2 and 4, which also makes 6 altogether. So both times we can see the number 6 being represented, but they look a little bit different, because we've got a 3 and a 3 making 6 here, and we've got a 2 and a 4 making 6 here. Okay, your brain should be nicely warmed up there now. So if we move on to the next slide, I've got a kangaroo randomly, and I've got a sand timer. Now you'll be used to seeing sand timers in your classroom at school, and often we use them, don't we, if we're on an activity to make it fair so that everybody has the same amount of time on an activity. This sand timer is for 10 seconds. So if we count to 10, nice and slowly and steadily, that's how long it will take for the sand timer to run out. So in a minute, when I click go on the sand timer, the kangaroo is going to start jumping up and down, and I want you to count really carefully how many jumps the kangaroo can manage to do in 10 seconds. Okay, you ready? Watching carefully. And that's it, the sand hasn't run out, it's been 10 seconds. Can you show me on your fingers at the screen how many kangaroo bounces did you spot? Are you showing me 5 fingers? If you are, well done. So in 10 seconds, the kangaroo could bounce 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Let's have a look at, Oh, and there's our number 5 in our tens frame. And number 5, there's the numeral 5 as well. So we can show 5 in different ways, can't we? Right, on our next screen, I've got my 10-second timer back again, and I've got Fuzzy B at the bottom of the page, and he's going to try and travel in a route all the way around that map. He's going to go round the outside, and I wonder if you can count how many times the bee manages to go round the shape, round the rectangle shape in 10 seconds. Can you have a guess first? Now, we talked about estimating when we were doing our measuring of capacity, measuring our liquids the other week. How many times do you think that the bee can travel around the outside of the map? Do you think it will be more than 5, like the kangaroo bounce has managed to do, or do you think they won't be able to do as many? It will be less than 5. Let's see if you are right. So if I click on it, you need to watch really carefully, watch the bee travelling around and see how many times he manages to do it. Off we go. And there we are, we're out of time. How many times did the bee go round his route? Showing on your fingers. He went twice, 2 times, didn't he? All the way round. I wonder if anybody guessed 2 times. So the kangaroo could bounce 5 times in 10 seconds, but the bee could only go 2 times around his route on the map. And that's because some things take longer to do, don't they? So a bounce was nice and quick, and it took longer to travel around the map, so the bee couldn't do it as many times. Okay, if I stop sharing the screen now and come back. So we were having a little look at what some things could be done in 10 seconds. Now I've got some timers here to remind you of the ones that we use in the classroom at school. So I have got a 5-minute timer, backwards on the screen. So I could turn this upside down and it would take 5 minutes. And that's the one we often use in my classroom. If somebody's in the stand and we say you've got 5 minutes with the timer on, and then it's somebody else's turn. So we could use a timer for 5 minutes. The pink one is for 2 minutes. So not as long, because 2 is smaller than 5, isn't it? So sometimes if we wanted a really quick timer, we might say you've got 2 minutes, go, and turn it upside down. And then the last one that I wanted to think about a little bit more, this is a 1-minute timer. And today I want us to have a think about the sorts of things we could do in 1 minute. Because we say that sometimes, don't we? Say, I'll just be a minute, or you've got 1 minute. And I wanted to think, well, how long is 1 minute? And your challenge today is, in a little while, to see how many things you can get done in a minute. We can measure a minute in lots of different ways. So I could use this timer to measure me a minute. You could use a clock. This is the clock from my kitchen. Hopefully you'll be able to see. It's a bit shiny, isn't it? But there's another hand, a silver hand, going round and round and round. And that's called the second hand. And it goes all the way round. And once it's gone all the way around the clock, that will be 1 minute. It's actually 60 seconds in a minute. So it will go 60 times until it gets back to the beginning. So you could measure a minute on a clock face using the second hand. Or you could use a phone. So this is my mobile phone. And I've got a timer here. And you can set a minute timer on here, look, and it's counting down. You might want to use one of those, and then it sets off a little alarm at the end. Okay, I'll turn that off, otherwise it can leak into the rest of our DVD. Oh, it still hasn't stopped. Oh my goodness. Let me see if I can cancel it. Right, that's better. Oh, it's not. Gonna have to go out the window. Okay, so I'm going to just share with you a twinkle activity. So let me just pause them to find it. Okay, so I'm the technology now. So if I put it on, oh, my dog has decided to try and join the video. And good boy, I don't. That's what happens when you film at home children. If the dogs come and join us as well. Okay, so on the website today, you have got this PDF and it says, what can you do in 1 minute? So you can choose some of the activities on here and you can find yourself a way of timing 1 minute. So you might not have stand timer like Mrs. Webb does, but you've probably all got people in your family with mobile phones, so you could get a 1 minute timer on here, or you can Google 1 minute timer on the internet on a tablet or something, and you can get an interactive timer as well, and that's a good way of doing it. And you can pick some of the activities on these cards to try and do in a minute. So the first one says, how many star jumps can you do in 1 minute? Now, Miss Webb has got her boots and a dress on today, so I'm not going to try and do any star jumps for you. It says, how many times can you sing a nursery rhyme in 1 minute? Now, nobody wants to hear Miss Webb singing when I haven't got all your lovely voices with me as well to cover my dodgy notes up, so I'm going to skip that one as well, but that might be one that you like to try. How many times can you count up to 10 in 1 minute? So that's a different one. How many times can you touch your toes in 1 minute? So a little bit of exercise in that one as well, which would be good fun. How many pieces of rubbish can you put in the bin in 1 minute? That might be really helpful for all your grown-ups in the house if you can do a bit of tidying. Or how many toys can you tidy into the toy box maybe? How many different words can you write down in 1 minute? How many different ways can you use to time 1 minute? So you can see here they've got a stand timer or a clock. There's the second hand that we looked at that's got to go all the way around once, or a timer on a stopwatch maybe. I'm going to go all the way back up here to the top and pick this one, which says, how many times can you write your name in 1 minute? Now, I think it depends how many times you write your name will depend on if you've got a long name or short name. So some of you with short names might be able to write it lots and lots of times in 1 minute. If you've got a longer name, it might take you a little bit longer. So if I come off screen share, I've got my whiteboard behind me and I have got my pen, so you can get an idea of how long 1 minute is. So this is the sun timer, and I'm hoping it's a bit dreary outside, so the light's not brilliant, and yellow's not the best colour, but it's the colour it came in, unfortunately. I'm going to turn the sun timer over, so I want you to watch it as it runs out, and I'm going to turn around, and I'm going to try and write my name as many times as I can in 1 minute. Are we ready? On your mark, get set, go. Off I go. Mrs. Webb. Mrs. I'm trying to do it quickly, but not too scribbly. That's quite a tricky. Mrs. Webb. Mrs. Webb. Oh, still got quite a bit of time left. Mrs. Webb. I've got an aching hand now, so writing the same thing again and again and again. Mrs. Webb. Oh, still some more. I'm going to have to go over here. Look. Mrs. Webb. Mrs. Webb. Mrs. Webb. Oh, starting to run out of time. Keep an eye on that timer for me, children. Mrs. Webb. Mrs. Webb. Mrs. Oh, Mrs. W. I've got as far as, and I am out of time. Let's see if we can count. It's a bit tricky with that light shining. How many times did I manage to write my name in 1 minute? Can you count with me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then over here, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11 and half a name, 11 and a half. So I'd say in 1 minute, I could write my name 11 times all the way through. So I ran out of time on that last one, didn't I? So number 11. I wonder how many times you would be able to write your name in 1 minute. Will it be more than Mrs. Webb's 11 or less? Like I said, it depends if you've got a long name or a short name, I think. It's good practice at writing your name as well. So your maths activity for today then is to find a way with your grown-up of measuring 1 minute, and then to pick some of the different ideas from the twinkle cards that are on the home learning page today. It might be writing your name, it could be some star jumps, it could be counting numbers to 10, like it said. Any of those ideas, give a few of them a go and let me know how you got on. And at the end of it, you should have a really good idea of how long 1 minute is. And then that would be a good way for you to think about how we can measure time. And the next time someone says to you, you've only got 1 minute, you'll think, oh, I know how long that is. I know how many star jumps I can get done in a minute, or I know how many times I can write my name. So hopefully then that will be some super new learning for you today, thinking about how we measure not just how tall something is or how long something is in length, but how long in time as well. Okay, so well done. Thanks for listening today, and go and enjoy that activity now. See what you can get done in 1 minute, and I'll see you later. Bye.